Hi there, I'm Nancy Herring from Now We're Cooking. It's Tuesday, so it's time for tips, tricks, and treats. Today we're making salads, partly because it's summer and it's 100 degrees in Albuquerque. But what I want to do is show some salads that don't use lettuce, because lettuce is a very controversial subject right now because people are getting extremely ill from it. Do what you need to do on that. You know, if you wash it really well, you might, I don't know, you make your own opinion on that one. But I want to show you some things that you can do in the salad world that don't rely on lettuce. And one is an old classic carrot raisin salad, which truly, that's all that's in it, is carrots and raisins. And I'm going to make the dressing first. You take some, and the quantities are just depending on how many carrots. It takes about 5 carrots, give or take. And I'm using, it calls for mayonnaise and sour cream. I'm using mayonnaise and yogurt, so don't tell, but that's what I prefer. And you put some sugar in there. And you stir it all up with a whisk. And then I'm going to taste it and see if I think it's sweet enough. If I don't think it's thick enough, if I think it's too thick, I may add some milk to it. Let's just see what we get here. Not too shabby. I'm going to put a teeny bit more. The thing that you can add to this if you want to, the only thing I'm not adding is pineapple, which is a great thing. I'm going to put a little bit of milk in it because I want it a little bit thinner. You didn't see me smell the milk, but force of habit, I always smell the milk before I pour it in something. Okay. I grated the carrots. I just used a box grater. You can use the food processor. You can even buy carrots already grated, but it's not a big deal to grate them in my world. So I'm gonna pour the dressing over, put the raisins in. I will tell you my trick. We don't use raisins extremely often, so they live in the freezer. So then when they come out, not only are they cold, but they're a little bit dry. So I take them and I pour boiling water on them, and that plumps them up, and then I drain the water off, because I would rather have nice soft raisins than hard crunchy ones in my salad. This is something my mom made all the time when I was growing up. I don't know if it's something that you've had or done before, but it's just a fun, and it's classic. You know, it's not avant-garde, it's not any of that stuff, but it's a good salad, and it goes well with many things. So it's ready to go. You can let it sit a little while, you can keep it in the fridge, or you can just serve it immediately. And I just want to be sure that all the carrots have an equal opportunity to get with the dressing. I know a lot of people who would put a lot more dressing on there than I do, but it's my salad, so I'm not gonna. So let me just get another little spoon and taste it. There's no salt and pepper at this point in time, and I don't know if I need any. Let me just give a taste. That's good. I do think I want a little salt. I think I'm bypassing the pepper, but I do want some salt. So I'm going to set that one to the side. Real easy. Carrots, raisins, mayonnaise, sour cream or yogurt, a little bit of sugar. Done. Okay. Now, I really enjoy bean salads. And we're going to do a white bean salad. And what's nice about this is all of these are kind of, quantities are up to you. It only asked for 1 can of beans, but I didn't think that was enough, so I added 2. And white beans can be garbanzos, they can be navy beans, they can be cannellini beans. I have a can that was labeled cannellini and a can that was just labeled white beans. When I use canned beans, I open them, I put them in a colander, I rinse them really well to get the aquafaba, it's called, off them. I don't want that kind of slime on there. So I've got my beans in the bowl. You can use zucchini, you can use yellow squash, or you can use cucumbers. I prefer cucumbers, and I only did a half of a cucumber. I didn't want a whole cucumber. And again, cucumbers can be many different sizes. Cherry tomatoes cut up. I had so many different cherry tomatoes. I had teeny tiny ones from a garden. I had medium ones from some that I purchased, and I had large ones from some that I purchased. So I cut them all up into, look how little the teeny tiny ones are, but I cut them too. So I've got cucumbers, I've got tomatoes. I want some garlic, and I'm not putting this in the dressing. Well, I am gonna put it in the dressing. I'm gonna use this same bowl. So I'm gonna squish my garlic into here. And then I've got some basil, not a ton, and I just chiffonaded it, which is the other word. Love that word. You take your basil leaves and you roll them up like a cigar and you cut them so you get little ribbons. Now the dressing on this is just a simple vinaigrette. So I'm gonna put some olive oil, about, I think it says for a 1/4 cup. You notice I'm really measuring well. Red wine vinegar, just a tablespoon or 2. And then oregano. Making sure I'm putting the right thing. All of these can be mixed. Oh no, oregano goes in the other one. They can all, same dressing can apply to all of them. That's what's so funny, is that, you know, a little bit of same kind of vinaigrette can go for any of these. So I want to whisk this up a little bit. I'm enjoying the smell of the Dijon and the garlic. And pour this over. Use another scraper. And this time I do want salt and pepper. So I've got a new automatic pepper grinder. I need to do it on the white beans so I can see how much I'm putting on here. Not a ton, but some. I'm gonna do some salt. So I wanted a pretty good mixture of beans, a ratio of beans to vegetables. So if I had just done the 1 can of beans, I would have more of a veg salad with no beans, but I like the beans, so I wanted to do 2. So let me try this and see if we need any more goodie in it. That's good. I like bean salad best after they've had a chance to sit for a little bit. So if I was going to serve this, I would try and make it a little bit earlier in the day so that it could have, the flavors could have a chance to mingle. The other salad is a Greek salad, and I realize that everybody has their version of what goes in a Greek salad. Well, this is one version. I'm not using lettuce. That's the big thing. So I'm using tomatoes. I didn't want big wedges of tomatoes. I wanted a little bit smaller, but I did seed the tomatoes. I cut them in quarters and I popped out the seeds. Some people do that, some people don't. I just didn't want a real watery mixture. I did the same with the cucumber. I cut the cucumber long, and then I dug out the seeds in the middle, so I have little half moons of cucumber. I washed the cucumbers, and then I used my peeler and peeled most of the skin off. I like a little bit of the skin, but I didn't want all of the skin, and I was not using English cucumbers, so I definitely had skin on them. Red onions to taste. Recipes always say 1 medium red onion, and red onions are purple, not red, but they're called red onions, and they are, at our store, they're usually ginormous, so I would never use a whole one. So this is about a half of one of the smallest ones I could get, and I did it in little strips because I wanted all the pieces to be somewhat alike. Bell pepper, you can use green, you can use red, you can use whatever. I did 1 and I cut it in strips. Then the 2 things that are kind of, you love them or you don't like them at all. Feta cheese, I used a block that I cubed up. You could also use already crumbled feta, or you could even do it in slices. I didn't want a slice. I wanted some cubey things. And then some Kalamata olives. These are just from a jar. I didn't pit them myself or anything. And some people love Kalamatas and some people don't. But it's a nice, nice mixture without any lettuce. So this one also another vinaigrette, but this one just calls for olive oil. And I'm not going to use it all to start with. Red wine vinegar, no mustard as an emulsifier. Oregano and salt and pepper. Now the one thing that I'm going to put in that, because I like it, is parsley. And some people like it, some people don't. I'm also going to put some pepper on my salad itself. It's not coming out as fast as I need it to, so I've got to play with it. All the pepper mills are adjustable, so I need to do some adjusting on that one. And I have a huge whisk. That's what I have left. So I'm going to whisk that up a little bit. You can use red wine vinegar. You can use rice wine vinegar. You want a fairly kind of bright flavor in the vinegar. And then I'm going to add some parsley, because I think parsley always kind of perks up, makes things taste very fresh. And then I'm going to stir without going overboard. But the colors are such a pretty combination. And it's, you don't need the lettuce. You don't necessarily miss the lettuce. And right now, that's not a bad thing, because as I say, depending on where you buy your lettuce and how you clean your lettuce and all the things that are happening in the food world. So let me taste and see how we did. Very nice. Very nice. Lemon juice would be the other thing to use instead of vinegar, but I like this flavor combination. So you notice I have 27 bowls. I wouldn't necessarily make all of these at once at home, but they're delicious. They're easy. They're things you can get at the store. You may already have in your refrigerator. So we have carrot raisin salad. We have a Mediterranean white bean salad, and we have a Greek salad. So 3 things to add to your summer menus without using lettuce when you need a salad, and they can be done in a hurry. So I would encourage you to give them a shot. I hope you enjoy them. It's what we're having for dinner, so we will love them. Now We're Cooking is at the northeast corner of Paseo del Norte in Wyoming. We are open Monday through Saturday from 11 to 4. We're here to help you out with all the things you need with back to school and trying to get back in the swim of cooking every day and providing dinner for your family and all the things. So please come by and see us. We'd love to help you out with your cooking needs. We thank you so much for watching, and we'll look to see you next time. Bye now.